Making money from video games in a way that takes advantage of players. In the late 1990s, the internet became very popular and tech enthusiasts started to download video game content directly from it. These pieces of content, or DLC, often included fan-made extensions to popular video games and lots of Doom mods. This was mostly harmless fun amongst a small group of technologically proficient gamers and developers. This changed with the introduction of online gaming platforms like MMOs and Microsoft's Xbox Live, which allowed players to purchase items directly over the internet. Initially, this mostly involved game companies selling subscriptions to play in their virtual worlds or selling small items. Players were excited to be able to pay for small extra pieces of gameplay without having to buy an entirely new game. However, in 2006, Bethesda released downloadable content, DLC, for the Elder Scrolls series that only added armor for an in-game horse. This caused players to push back against the idea of paying for pixels that had no other use. Despite the negativity, the horse armor became the 9th best-selling DLC, beating out expansion packs that took thousands of hours to produce. Other gaming studios saw this success, and 18 years later, the majority of money made by the gaming industry comes from DLC sales. After someone has bought a game, people may think it is a good way to make video games cheaper since they can get in-game purchases. However, these purchases are being used to take advantage of people who are vulnerable. To understand why this is happening, we can learn how money works with the help of Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a daily email newsletter that provides information about business, tech, finance, crypto, and culture in an easy-to-read format. Each newsletter contains short segments that only take a minute to read, but give you an overview of what is happening in the world. Do you want to read further stories from Morning Brew? These stories range from major world events to niche stories like an NFT collector who lost over $2 million in a scam. This story was useful to me while writing this video. Morning Brew is a great way to start the day and it's free, so you can easily sign up to check it out. Video game developers need to make money to keep shareholders happy, so they need to sell more than one game to make a profit. Exceptions do exist, but it is difficult to get every gamer to pay the maximum amount for a game. To maximize profit, game companies should offer a game that gets better with more money invested. For example, a game could be free to play with upgrades available for purchase. This way, people who only play the game for free will still play, and people who are willing to spend money can have a better experience. Some people are willing to pay a premium subscription fee, and hundreds of people, called whales, are willing to pay $1,000 a month to get the most out of the game. The game is designed to extract as much money as possible from players. Even if players don't pay anything, the game developers are still making money because they get something more valuable, which is entertainment for the whales who pay thousands of dollars a month. People are unlikely to keep paying to upgrade their weapons if they can't use them to overpower other players, especially those who just wanted to try out the game for free. Business students call this price skimming, where businesses alter their prices for the same product for different people in order to maximize profits. Gamers call this pay-to-win monetization, which takes on a few different forms. The best type of game in the gamer's eye is a game that is free with no outlets for monetization at all. The problem is that this doesn't generate any revenue for whoever put the time and effort into developing the game. There are still games like this, though. The next step down are games that are free to play, but sell game items that make only cosmetic changes, like new hats or outfits for your character. It doesn't improve your stats in the game, but it still generates revenue for the developers. Worse than that are games that you need to pay for upfront, but also offer cosmetic items. Mobile games are notorious for this, as you can download them for free, but if you want to be competitive against other players, you are almost forced into paying money to skip arbitrary timers and unlock powerful items. The worst type of game is one that you need to pay for, but still offers in-game advantages for money. When Electronic Arts released Star Wars Battlefront, they were met with resistance for locking characters like Darth Vader behind real cash paywalls. The harm comes to the people that, unfortunately, already do pay for these advantages. A 2018 report by Daniel King of the Society for the Study of Addiction has reported that video game addiction is real and game companies are taking advantage of this to make a lot of money from a small group of people. Just like casinos, video game companies cater to gamers who spend a lot of money by making them feel like they are special and will have an advantage over their opponents. The report explains that companies have refined their systems to make it more appealing for players to purchase in-game items, which tricks their brains into believing it is part of the gameplay. This can be seen in things such as loot boxes. Loot boxes are in-game purchases that offer random items. This means that when you spend money, you may not get the item you wanted or any item of value at all. This adds an element of chance to predatory monetization, which can trap players into a loop of spending money trying to get a rare item. Companies also use the player base to their advantage. Since online games are social, gamers are more likely to spend money to show off to their peers. Big data is also used to extract money from players, as the game companies know more about the game than the players. Games also have multiple currencies, gems, coins, pearls, etc., that are used to unlock different things. Many people have compared in-game tokens to casinos giving players poker chips instead of actual money, because people do not experience the same emotional response when handing over a poker chip as they do with cash. This is part of the game company's strategy to maximize the chances that gamers will purchase items. However, in-game tokens make it difficult to determine the actual value of in-game purchases due to the exchange rate. Companies like Activision and EA have patents on their microtransaction systems as they are their primary revenue generator. They want to create habits in players so that they will spend more money over time. This is further complicated by the use of multiple in-game currencies, making it difficult to keep track of how much money is being spent. Players can easily fall into the sunk cost trap, where they have already spent money and time on the game and do not want to stop playing it. Unfortunately, many of these players are not wealthy and use debt to pay for these purchases. This can lead to a spiral of debt and escapism, as gamers look for an escape from their financial burden in the online universe. Companies are using unethical tactics to take advantage of people who are socially isolated and want to socialize online by preying on their addictive behaviors. They offer them items such as the Jada Ultra Mega Sword for an incredibly low price of $29.99, without allowing them to make any of their money back.